Hi, I'm Zoran Kapelan. I'm Professor of Water Systems Engineering at the University of Exeter in United Kingdom. I'm here today representing the EWRI, Water Distribution Systems Analysis History Project. The purpose of this project is to document the history of distribution system analysis, and as part of this project we're conducting a series of interviews with a number of people who have been involved in the field for a while. Our interview today is with Dr. Yves Filion, who is an associate professor at the Queen's University in Canada. Yves has been at the forefront of water distribution system analysis since the late 90s and continues to make significant contributions. His work has made a number of contributions, which we'll shortly find more about in the interview. This interview is being conducted on the 4th of September 2015 in Leicester in the UK during the CCWI conference. Yves, you have been working in the field of distribution systems analysis for a while now. Can you please tell us how you first got involved in the area?
Well, I did my bachelor's degree at the University of Toronto and in civil engineering, and had the good fortune of taking Brian Carney's course in municipal engineering. And of course we all know Brian and his lecturing style, his speaking style. Brian was very inspiring as an instructor and a lecturer, and he spoke with passion about how water systems and water resources had a tremendous impact on human life and human civilizations. And so after taking that course, I was convinced that I wanted to be part of this field and study more in the area of water resources and water distribution systems. So I think I got into this field because of Brian Carney.
Okay, thanks, Yves. So can you tell us maybe a little bit more about your early work? How did you, what did you work first on?
Yeah, so I did my bachelor's degree at U of T. I also did my master's, my PhD there. So I'm a kind of a U of T guy. I'm wearing the tie today to show it. So it was, I got involved in, I started my research in sort of sustainable water system research when I was doing my PhD. And in fact, in the first 2 years of my PhD when I was doing coursework, I had the good fortune of taking a course from Professor Heather McLean. And Heather McLean is a professor in the Department of Civil Engineering there, and she's a big researcher in life cycle analysis. And so she taught a course in sustainability or sustainable activities in civil engineering. Took the course, and the major requirement for the course was a final paper, where one had to write develop a method on analyzing the sustainability of some civil engineering infrastructure. And so at the time I was reading a lot of papers on life cycle analysis applied to various consumer products, anywhere from a diaper to a car. And so at some point when I was sitting in my research office, I thought to myself, well, why not do an LCA of a water system? And so I wrote a paper that looked at life cycle energy analysis of water distribution system, that looked at the energy implications of 3 stages: fabrication, operation, and end of life. Submitted the term paper for the grade and got a high mark. And then Brian Carney and Heather McLean both approached me and said, well, this is great work, we should publish. And so that paper was originally published in the Journal of Infrastructure Systems, and it really launched my interest in this area of sustainable water systems.
Okay, thank you. I happen to know that you have collaborated with a number of people from the distribution systems analysis community. Can you tell us a little bit about that relationship, what kind of issues you worked on together, and how you generally find this experience?
Yeah, well, I've been recently collaborating with Dr. Vanessa Spate, who's now research fellow at the University of Sheffield. And Vanessa and I are both Canadian, so maybe that's why we have a special connection. Actually, we're both from Kingston. I live in Kingston now, Kingston, Canada, and she grew up in Kingston, so there's an extra connection there. But Vanessa and I work well together because we've been co-supervising graduate students for a number of years now. We work well together because Vanessa, of course, brings a whole bunch of experience from industry, having been a high-flying consultant there for a number of years in the United States. So she has all this wonderful practical knowledge and has a very good sense of the big problems that municipalities face. I complement that relationship with sort of more academic inclination, and so we work well together. And I've really enjoyed our collaboration together for a number of years, and hopefully that will continue.
Okay, thank you. You have been working lately quite a lot on the topic of looking into a wide range of issues related to energy, energy use, energy consumption, and so on in distribution systems. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, please?
Well, my focus really, for the last 10 years, ever since I wrote that paper for Heather McLean during my PhD, really has been to try to design modeling approaches that incorporate energy considerations and environmental considerations in the design of water distribution systems, full stop. And so that's really been the guiding principle in my work. And so I've done that through various means in developing life cycle analysis approaches and optimization approaches, but that's always been the intent. I think when I first started, there were perhaps 2 or 3 people working in this area, and it's grown somewhat over the years, which is very encouraging.
It is indeed. Most of your career was, as you described, at 2 universities, Toronto and then now Queen's University. But in the Queen's University, you got your permanent position and your academic position, and you eventually got to work with younger people. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience, about the students you mentored?
Yeah, well, I think I'm still in the early stages of my career, and I've been fortunate to supervise some wonderful students in the early years who have really helped me along in my research program, in establishing my research program. They've been wonderful students. I mean, I'll give you a few examples. One of the first students I had was Leslie Herstein. And Leslie did a wonderful job of creating a number of sort of environmental impact metrics that she combined with an optimization scheme. And so at the time, I think that was fairly innovative. There's still a lot of work to be done in that area, but it was something new at the time. And so Leslie was a wonderful student that really sort of helped me propel my career in that area. Over the years, I've had people like Ehsan Roshani who have looked at the greenhouse gas implications of pipe rehabilitation, a lot of the same kind of work that Angus Simpson at Adelaide looks at. And currently I'm supervising some wonderful students, Saeed Hashemi, who's here at the conference in CCWI 2015. Saeed is trying to develop energy metrics to look at the geographical variations of energy in systems. So, I think part of the little bit of success I've had in research is in large part because I've been blessed with having really great students.
And have you maybe stayed in touch with some of those who left now? Do you know what they're
Yes.
doing now in their lives?
Well, actually, Leslie Herstein, who was one of my first students, when she finished her master's, I encouraged her to go on to bigger and better things, and so I encouraged her to study with Barry Adams, who's distinguished professor at the University of Toronto. And so she started her PhD in Toronto, and I think it was a year later, Barry invited me back to co-supervise her. So it's been a very nice way to stay in touch, and in fact, I think Leslie defended her PhD about 2 or 3 weeks ago, so it was kind of a nice closure to that, and I hope to keep collaborating with her in the future.
Okay, excellent. And is she going to stay in academia? Do you know that maybe?
We're all pushing her to, because she's a very gifted person. So.
Excellent, excellent. Can you tell us a little bit about the practical problems that you have been working on? have you been exposed to, some I mean, most of your work that you do is related to real life problems, but have you had a chance to work on a specific kind of, real life case studies or problems or?
Yeah, increasingly I am trying to look at bigger networks, so-called real-life networks, and so and that really has started to happen more frequently with my collaborations with Vanessa, because Vanessa, not only does she have a lot of great practical knowledge and experience in consulting, she also brings a lot of big examples from her past projects. And so we've been able to capitalize on a lot of that with Vanessa, and it's been really good.
Excellent. Finally, let me ask you about what do you think are do you have any thoughts that you would like to share with us about your work in distribution systems analysis in terms of directions for the future? What do you see as the major topics in the years to come, issues to be addressed?
Yeah, I think without pointing to specific topics, I think the grand challenge is to, again, apply a lot of creativity in developing modeling approaches and collecting data in order to be able to characterize the environmental impacts and energy implications of designing these systems. So for example, what are the environmental ramifications of choosing PVC pipe over ductile iron pipe? Currently, there's very little data in terms of embodied energy and embodied impacts of these material decisions that one makes, not only in the horizontal assets, as we heard yesterday, but the vertical assets. So being able to make that connection, I think, is a huge research challenge that remains. And my hope is that my initial work will inspire and motivate other researchers to pursue these avenues in the future.
Okay. Thank you very much for taking part in this interview.
Great. Thank you, Zoran.